Pratakala Suprabhadam, Somavasara Pratakala Suprabhadam. Good morning, my dear friends. So, I shall continue. Casteism or castes in Hinduism. This is part number 4. And today we shall see some quotes from Tamil texts. See, Thiruvalluvar in verse number 972 very beautifully explains பிறப்பு ஒக்கும் எல்லா உயிர்க்கும் சிறப்பு ஒவ்வா செய்தொழில் வேற்றுமையான வேற்றுமை. The difference is செய்தொழில், what they are doing. பிறப்பு, by birth everybody is one. பிறப்பு ஒக்கும் எல்லா உயிர்க்கும், all the living beings. The சிறப்பு is ஒவ்வா செய்தொழில் வேற்றுமையான. The difference lies in their karma. Everybody is born equal, but they are high or low depends on what karma they do. See, in the society, there are terrorists. They kill people everywhere in the world. There are robbers who loot. There are people who tell lies. There are people who are disobedient to the laws of the land. There are people who always harm others, and other sets are there, like our acharyas who do good to the people, like the medical doctors who help the people, like the philanthropists who give charity to the needy. There are people who always talk good, they always help others, and there are people who harm others. This is what, as per karma, even Thiruvalluvar said 60 years before the common era. See, Avayar was a very great Tamil poet, very philosophical, very knowledgeable. And she said, Sadi irandoliya verillai satrungal நீதி வழுவா நெறிமுறையின் மேதினியில் இட்டார் பெரியோர் இடாதார் இழிகுலத்தோர் பட்டாங்கில் உள்ளபடி. இட்டார் பெரியோர், those who give charity. There are only two sets of people, that's all. Sadi irandoliya verillai, that's all. What are the two? Ittar periyor, one who gives charity, he is of the higher caste. Idadar, the kanjus, is of the lower caste. Very clear, they say, they go as per karma only, not as even by birth. See, the karma takes the dominance in Hindu society, clearly revealing the fact that the caste is based on your karma. Yes, Yonihi also some mentions has been mentioned. The parents have been performing these good karmas. The child born is immediately a Brahmin, but he has to follow the karma to continue to be a Brahmin. Brahmin or the higher caste. The caste system is very clear. Tirumular, a very divine Siddhar of Tamil Nadu, he says, Ondre Kulam, Uruvare Devan. That's all he says. The caste, the community, everything is one, and there is only one God, the Paramatma. That's what the Vedas says. Vasudhaiva Kutumbam. Everybody, all of us are one. We should have the love and the affection, because how long are we going to live in this world to fight for castes and religion? How long? What, 10,000 years? Impossible. 80 or 90 or 100 years goes off like a picosecond. When compared to universe time of 13.72 billion years already existed, and it's going to exist for another 311 trillion years as per our own Veda Shastras. Our time span, our journey of the body, our journey of our life in this body is going to be very limited, very short. Before you close and open your eyes, the lifespan is out, and then we have to enter the other body, depending on your karma. In this system, our Hinduism and Hindu philosophies, the Vedic literature, either in Tamil or in Sanskritam, does not endorse the view of any casteism and one caste Brahmins dominating the Shudras or untouchables and all. These came only about 300-400 years back when the invaders came. First the Turkish came. The Turkish Ibrahim Lodi came, or the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Ghazi dynasty, all were there. Then the Mughals came, then the British came. They came in the form of traders and captured the country, everyone. See, they want to do something, and also the tribals were the Chandalas who were living in Nilgiris, the Todas of Nilgiris, the Irulas, or everywhere in Orissa, the Gundas, they say. See, they were all in the forest area because India was a land of high forestry. There were a lot of rains, a lot of rivers, very, very fertile lands were there. Rainfall was abundant. Sunshine was abundant. Climatic conditions were abundant. Not very cold, not very hot. You have hills, the mountains. You have from Himalayas to the Western Ghats down. Flowing rivers you had. And being a peninsula, a lot of rainfall was there. And in the north, because of the snow melting, a lot of water was there in the Ganges and other rivers. India means the original India, including the Pakistan or Bangladesh, even some portions of Afghanistan. The original Vedic India I'm talking of, up to Baluchistan, up to borders of Persia. So we were a very fertile land, and nobody thought of one caste dominating the other or something like that. It came all about 600, 700 years back on economic concentrations. See, even if you take Brahmins, the Laugikas and the Vaidikas are there. Vaidikas are people or priests in a temple. They do the performance, the puja. And the Laugikas are the business people or the service people, the professor, the college or the businessman and all. They don't intermarry. Because of economic considerations, the priests are generally not well off when compared to the other Laugikas who are in the Loka affairs, who are the Vyavaharas of the Lokas. Whereas the Vaidikas, who are always devoted to God, they do not even ask for Dakshina. Whatever you put, they take. Most of them. Maybe some nowadays. About 20, 30 years back, I do remember they were very happy with whatever you give. They take it. They have their family. They have their parents to look after. They have their own expenses, is it not? The modern expenses. But still, whatever you give, they humbly take it. So they were not as well off as the Laukikas. The Vaidikas are not as well off. Therefore, what happens? The intermarriage doesn't take place even between the own Brahmins. So what I am going to say, it is all the economic consideration. If you are a rich man, the worship of the wealthy, as G.K. Chesterton writes in his book. If you are a rich man, you are worshipped. In Umbrella Morals, there is another beautiful story. The rich man will deliberately, because he's a kleptomaniac maybe, or deliberately steals an umbrella in a function when he goes out of his house, when he goes out of the function. And nobody, even they find out, they would say, oh, by mistake he has taken. But he would have deliberately taken. Whereas a poor man, by mistake had he taken, people will pounce on him. They would say, no, he's a thief. Why? Because of the Lakshmi Devi involvement here. The rich man is always worshipped anywhere in the world. That is a law of the land. That is a principle of natural selection by humanity. Therefore, my dear friends, see, when in the Taittiriya Samhita, when 5766 it says, let the effulgence be on Brahmins, let the effulgence be on the Kshatriyas, Tejas. Effulgence means Tejas. Let it be on Vaishyas, it says 5766. You can go to the 5th chapter. And let the effulgence be on the Shudras. It includes all the 4 Varnas here, all the 4 sects. It doesn't stop with saying only up to Kshatriyas. What about Shudras? It doesn't omit Shudras. It includes the Shudras. Shudras were never ever thought of an inferior class at all. They were coming from the same body of the Purusha. They are divine. We worship the Shudra, and the Shudra has got the superior body than anybody else. Manu also says, Manu is a slightly revolutionary Shastra poet, but is a very good Rishi. He says in chapter 1I and verse number 87, a Brahmana is determined by his kind-heartedness only, how he behaves. Otherwise, he is not a Brahmana. And in several places, I have told you in my earlier parts, 1, 2, and 3, that if a Shudra involves himself in the indulgence of self-restraint, then he becomes a Brahmana. And the Brahmana who does not adhere to the principles of self-restraint, I told you, truthfulness, honesty, generosity, freedom from hatred, freedom from harshness, wickedness, and all, I told you. That Brahmana who does not adhere to that, he becomes a Shudra. If you want to talk on those lines, they say. So it is the character of the person, not on his birth. And suppose if we as parents adhere to the principle of Brahmanism, means self-restraint, our child will be called as a Brahmana, and then he has also to practice that. That was the Vedic system. But nowadays, see, when the things go there, when British started enumerating on for population statistics and all, okay, they want the population who is a Brahmin, who is a Hindu, who is a Muslim, who is a Christian, who in Hindus what caste, in Muslims what caste, in Christianity whether you are a Catholic. For enumeration purpose they have to have, so they just took it fast. In olden Vedic times we did not have that, and never it has been stated anywhere. Therefore, what does the caste system mean? In my opinion, it is nothing but the division of labor enunciated and revealed to the society by our divine Vedic sages. If you are a doctor, if you are a scholar, you are called a Brahmana. If you practice science, if you practice Vedas, and Vedas has got a lot of science, which I am going to prove in my future lectures. Science in Vedas. If you are a Kshatriya showing valor and fighting, because kings may fight. If you show the valor, you are a Kshatriya, if you serve in the army of the king. If you are a Vaishya, a trader who buys produce from here, one portion of part of India and sells it to another part of India, or you produce everything, something has to be produced, even cloth has to be produced, even paper was produced in those days. They used to take the bark of the tree, cut it, dry it, and then mash it nicely, like your chapati, handmade chapati, and on that they would write. Therefore, all these producers were done by the Vaishyas, and the Shudras were the agriculturalists and also serving others. If somebody orders, if a Brahmana orders, okay, you go and bring that palm leaf from that place, or do that, do the cleaning, house cleaning, or do the agricultural activity, plow the field. They were doing a section, and they were appreciated. The flowers to the Lord is offered to the feet of the Lord. Therefore, and Shudra, as per Purusha Sukta, coming from the feet of the Lord, is being given the best and the most highest respect. Therefore, nothing there to criticize or to find fault and ridicule about the caste system in Hinduism. For example, caste system was also there in early Christianity. Jesus Christ refused to talk to Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, because they were not adhering to principles of what they profess. They were violating their own karmas. He refused. That is a caste system. There were Pharisees. Then they called the Sadducees. There were a lot of tribes in Israel, mainly the 12 tribes. Similarly, in Islam, Jews were also killed in the war between Meccans and the Medinans because they betrayed Prophet Muhammad sitting inside Medina. You see, there is nothing called all these things. Even right now, the fight is going on between Yemens, the Syrians, all these people, the Houthis, they say, the Turks. And it is some European nations give them asylum, protection. Whereas their own brothers, the Islamic brothers, don't give them protection also. So everywhere there is a discrimination politically only. Now you cannot adduce it to caste system of a particular religion. Every religion is the same. Because as Vivekananda says, Akashat patitam toyam yadagacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha Sri Keshavam pradigacchati. Like the water, rivers coming from the mountains take different routes but finally land in sea. All religions worshipping all devas or all gods, everything your mind is towards the supreme, all lead to the Keshava, the supreme Brahman only. It's a very common fact. So therefore, that's why Swami Vivekananda says universal religion. Don't take one religion and ridicule it. You are having that caste, you are having this. That is the backwardness of Hinduism. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a forwardness of Hinduism because there is no insult or ridicule on a particular caste in Hinduism. We never had. Maybe in some other religions they had, but in Hinduism never we had. This point I want to emphasize very clearly. Therefore, my dear friends, the part 4 ends today, the castes in Hinduism. The next I will go to Sanskrit and the artificial intelligence, then other sciences which are available. Some of the points I have discussed in my book, A Search in Sacred Hinduism. It is available in e-Kindle, that is in the electronic format, and Google Books, all in electronic format, so that you can just skip through the pages you want to read the pages you want, and the cost is very little, less than $1 or something, a dollar and a half or something, for those of you who want to have records. I have given all the records there, even for your research, future research. You can see all my books. A Search in Sacred Hinduism, Do You Really Die? The Cosmic Code is Illusion, The Divine Entrepreneur, and The Muslim Princess Who Fell in Love with Lord Ranganatha. I shall continue more of my speeches till such time. Bhuyat Tavat Shubhamangalam. Thank you.